Hey everybody, Anthony or Pyraxis here. Thought I'd go out today since it's such beautiful weather. It's in the like 50s, high 50s. Unusual for February, of course, but feels like an early spring, even though old Punxsutawney Phil said otherwise. But I wanted to check out, and I've been wanting to check out the newest finished, completed section of the Sheepskin Trail along Nilan Road. It's I think about a mile they completed, and I don't know exactly how far it goes because I haven't actually been on it yet. And I've seen it goes fairly close to the old coke ovens up there, from what I can tell just by driving along the road, because I've been through here several times fishing. It doesn't have a very good parking area off the. In fact, you wouldn't even know it's probably a trailhead if you didn't know. But first of all, it's what's called a floating section because it doesn't connect to the other completed sections yet. I'm pretty sure that they've already got the funds to make that connection, which is probably a good half mile to 3/4 mile section that they need to like finish to connect them. But yeah, I wanted to come down here first to show you that there used to be an old I'm gonna turn the camera around. There used to be an old tunnel bridge kind of thing right here. That's what that mound is, where the road goes around here. But there used to be an old tunnel here that you had to go through. They took that out a couple of years back, and now the trail is actually going to supposedly bridge this gap on the top of this mound, and there's going to be a bridge. They're going to build a bridge that goes over the gap and to the top of that mound, and then it's going to connect with the trail that's a little bit beyond this area here. So I think that'll be neat that they'll have like the bridge there, and they'll probably put some kind of parking area here, although this is private land. There's signs, or at least there used to be signs here that said keep out. Got a nice little creek that goes through here and connects down to the Cheat River down there, which you can see. So I've actually brought my kayak all the way up to this point, out of Point Marion, which is a couple of miles. Oop, I hear a car coming. All right, so yeah, and there's all these are little pawpaw trees too. There's a nice big patch of pawpaw trees all around here. So yeah, that's a serious vehicle with Trump's face plastered on the side of it. Oh, look at this big, beautiful sycamore tree. Oh my God. Isn't that just freaking gorgeous? Standing out there like it's gonna give me a big hug with its arms wide open there. All right, I'll shut her down and I'll get on the trail. All right, well, I got back to the vehicle and then I thought, well, geez Louise, I've got this neat little handheld Garmin that I'm gonna take my camera too. See if I can. Whoops! Hello, sorry about that, y'all. Didn't mean to throw you into a tizzy there, but I decided I'd turn the Garmin on and see what kind of. Look at the mileage here. I haven't gotten familiar with using it yet, but I wanted to have it just, for tracking purposes and everything like that. Plus I got my camera just in case I come across anything interesting. This time of year I'm expecting that it won't be all that interesting. Everything's kind of not blooming yet, that's for sure. So as you can see, there's not really, there's a big enough space here for a few people to park. However, this as you can see, it's MUD mud, and a lot of mud. Here's where I tried. I was going to park right there, but I was like too afraid I might not make it out, so I went ahead and just went over here where it's a little more solid. But yeah, you can tell the spot by all the tires stacked up here. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and walk this area and just see what this trail is about. I mean, I don't expect it to be all that much, but since they finished it last year sometime, I think. It was last winter that they started working on it, if I remember correctly. But as you can see, now that's the section that they're gonna connect down there at that big hump I told you about. Wow, a lot of trees fell through there. Whew, nice steep hill. Big, beautiful, looks like an oak tree up here. Got a few rocks. We gotta watch for falling rocks, I guess. Get that off the trail a bit. All right, yeah, it's an oak tree. There's all kinds of acorns around here on the ground. Still a lot of acorns. All right, nice thing about this is you do have a nice view of the river along this part of the trail. Look at that. I love how the white sycamore trees really stand out. Sycamore, yeah, that's right. For some dumb reason, when I was in California, I would always mix up sycamore and eucalyptus, which is weird because the eucalyptus trees are nothing like sycamores. Whew. I think what I'll do is I'll probably just film, continuous film, and then I'll just edit out areas along the way instead of turning the camera off and on. But yeah, like I said, it's slowly but surely they're getting parts of this trail done. Now they haven't really added on anything other than right here at Point Marion. They've done a little work in the Uniontown, South Union section, but I think that's mostly improvements that they've been doing along there. They haven't actually added any new trail segments for quite some time. But they've got, it's supposed to be like, somewhere around 40 miles, I think 30 something miles, 40 miles. And it's supposed to connect the West Virginia rail trail system to the Great Allegheny Passage Trail. So there we go. I brought all my fishing gear and bait and everything. I thought maybe I'd try a little fishing later at the park if the water wasn't too bad. This time of year with all the snow melt and everything like that, then it tends to get kind of murky and muddy and a little too fast flowing, but we'll see what it's like down there. Might catch me a nice big catfish for supper. Oh, yeah, I love those sycamore trees. A nice little flat area up here. I can't imagine what this whole bank, this area from here up to the little town of Lake Lynn, I can't imagine what it used to look like back in the day, because there was, I think, in addition to the coke ovens, I think there might have been some mines or something through here. But I've seen old pictures online of this little river cut, you know, this river channel and everything, and the old pictures show all kinds of industrial buildings and everything, especially down here by where the coke ovens are. It was like unbelievable, nothing like it is today. Now it's just all this stuff. It's just all regrown trees and shrubs and what Pennsylvania people like to call jaggers. I guess jagger is a general term for any like vines or stuff that grow that have the stickers on them, like greenbrier and wild rose and all those. But yeah, I only learned that word here about within the last year. I never heard it before. Never heard that term before. Jaggers. Oh, what a sad thing to see. Wild turkey. Yuck. Something got a hold of him and ate him. But yeah, so jaggers. I mean, if y'all know a more detailed description, what do you consider a jagger? Please feel free to comment so that I'll know, because like I said, it's a new word. I only first heard it while watching another guy's YouTube channel, and he was checking out the Shof old coke mine set, or not coke mine, the old coke oven set up there. Knowles, I think his name is Knowles, but he's got a pretty good little channel if you're into historical stuff. Jeez Louise. Try to be out here in the peace and quiet of nature, and you got all these like quads and everything going through that seem to make an unnecessary amount of noise. If you ask me anyways. Okay. Well, I have to say the best thing to see this time of year is just all the trees. I kind of like how that little maple tree there, it's kind of like growing up. There's a little fork in the tree behind it, and it's kind of neat how the maple tree is growing. I think that's a maple anyways. Yeah, it looks like some kind of maple, but I like how it's growing. It touches it. They're fusing together up there at the fork. See, I find stuff like that interesting. Okay. Always a lot of big, beautiful sycamores along river passages like this. Unfortunately, there's also a lot of tree of heaven. Tons of them. This is a tree of heaven here. There's one with some of the seed pods still on it right there. Got some ash leaf maple, or otherwise known as box elders. Looks like a bunch of a big patch of small tree of heavens, probably because of that one that I pointed out with its seed pods. Okay. Wow. Looks like we had some, oh, look at something else dead on a little shrew or something. Oh, how sad. Boy, this is turning out to be a trail of death or something. It's like, whew. Looks like these rocks just fell recently too. That one definitely had to fall within the last year. Someone's glove. But, oh my, look at that up there. I don't know, you probably can't see it through the camera, but that is a serious cliff up there. Oh, I smell skunk. Yep, definitely smell a skunk here. Just coming into his territory probably. Yeah, there's a flat spot up there, and just on the other side of that flat spot there's some serious rock faces up there. That's got to be a good 30-40 foot cliff drop up there. A lot of deer tracks along this trail. Yep, there's, like I said, another one of the rocks that fell. I'm not much of a geologist, but I like all these interesting striations in here. I like looking for fossils. I never really find much fossils up other than up at Ohio Pile. The Fern Cliff Peninsula has tons of old fossils along there. Trouble finding satellites. Continue searching. Yes. Okay, well, we got a nice little rocky, wow, it's a lot of cliffs up there. I never realized how, I know you guys can't see it through the trees, but I can see just the cliff faces, and my God, that one's got to be at least 60 or 80 feet. I mean, it looks like the Rocky Mountains for Pennsylvania. I mean, my goodness. One of these days I'm gonna have to hike up there and walk up there, because there's a flat spot just below all these cliffs, a flat area. Just getting up there, I mean, can you imagine going up this hill? Ooh, talk about some tough stuff there. But yeah, that might have been, like I said, all the industrial stuff. They might have cut out, it might have just been banked like this, and then they put buildings up there and everything in that flat area, and probably cut into the bank. But like I said, I had no idea that that cliff was up there like that. And yeah, that's a serious drop there. I mean, from what I can see, that's got to be a good 80 to 100 feet. Huh. Of course, I'm not that great with measurements, but I don't know. Seems pretty interesting to me. I really like all these rock outcroppings too, like what we have there. Nice to just get out though and get some exercise. Figured I'd show you guys more of the trail than my ugly mug. Oh, I got some ferns up there, grapevines. And again, a beautiful riverside. I like it when I'm down there on this river fishing, and on the other side there will be like some deer grazing in the marsh grasses and stuff on the other side, and then they don't even care that you're there. They just keep along their business. And yeah, I think I've captured that on one of my past videos where I was fishing and there was a deer on the other shore. Wow. Okay, so now the actual cutaway part looks like this is just straight up and down now. So maybe down this way there was some sort of buildings up there on that bank in the cutaway, but now it's all back to just normal. No more cliff. Well, cliff face way up there a little bit at the top, but not much. Another big beautiful sycamore. Look at that. Goodness gracious. At least they didn't take out all the big trees whenever they developed this area way back in the day, back in the, I think, 1800s. So again, I'm not too big on the, or too well versed on the historical aspects of the area, but there sure is a lot of history in PA. Now I still wonder what these ribbons are. I don't know if those are trees they're protecting, trees that are to be taken out. There's another interesting rock formation right up there. That's pretty cool. Probably looks like there's a critter den up there, like some animals. And then I can see more rocky areas up above here. Big, beautiful sycamores up there, even up on the bank a ways. Whew. Yep. I'm really grateful for this 50+ degree February weather. Well, it's the last day of February. So yeah, it's tomorrow's March 1st. Today is Saturday, February 28th. And despite what Phil said, I don't know if it feels like in early spring. We're supposed to get 70-degree weather this coming week. Of course, it's hard to say with the weather. Weather doesn't seem to be as reliable online as it used to be. Not since Doge, took all those people's jobs and made it harder. Got another little access road here. Guess I could, if you want to go halfway through, you could park there. And we got some mullein coming. That's known as cowboy toilet paper. That's already coming to life. I can see a bunch of it along the trail here. It's a biennial plant. It grows every other year. Well, no, it grows for 2 years. I'm sorry. I don't know what the heck my brain is. Got to get all the cobwebs out of my brain from wintertime and being indoors too much. I see there's some more mullein over there with a bunch of ferns. Nice little flat area. Probably was a building there at one time. you can see this was the old rail line where they probably shipped the coke down to Point Marion. So yeah, we're on an old rail line. They just converted it. But I'm just wondering if this actually goes all the way down to the coke ovens. I mean, it's a nice little walk. Beautiful, like I said, beautiful views of the river. So if you really like, yeah, there's no flow on this side. There's a rock down here I can go fishing off of. Caught a few things there once or twice. Mostly bass, because it's a real rocky area. Mostly smallmouth bass. I think that's the only thing I've ever caught there, really. Smallmouth bass. Oh, yeah, there's another rocky area up there. Another cliff-like area. But the hill's not quite as high here. Bet you up there would be a good place to view the watch the eagles and stuff and the hawks. Yeah, there's a little hidden spot behind that rock up there. There's somebody doing some camping or something up there. There's a fireplace and some trash. Huh. Little trail goes right up in there. Yeah, that must be someone's little favorite spot to camp out or something. Alright. You kind of just hide behind that rock. Of course, down at the bridge there were some homeless people living out of tents for a while, but I don't think they've been there for over a year. I think they got kicked out. Oh yeah, this is really nice. I like the rocky areas. And look, all these little pink ribbons, and are they property markers, or can't tell what that is. Why would they tie it on that tiny little sapling? It must be like a property border or something like that. Who would want to own this land though? I mean, there's like not really much you could do with it, with that cliff up there and everything. And I suppose if you want to spend enough money, you could do something with it. Of course, it is along the river, so you know, you probably could build something up there. And then, yeah, see, there's that little fishing spot I've gone to right down there. I think that's where I seen the deer on the opposite bank too. But yeah, I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's a couple islands out there on the river. Never brought my kayak up this far, but I used to always, when I did take my kayak out, there's the first island up there by Point Marion, just up from the bridge. I would always get Subway there in Point Marion, and then I would take my Subway sandwich and drink and stuff, and then I'd, you know, kayak up to the island and have my lunch on the island. And one of these days, I'm hoping I can do that, take my kayak up to the Allegheny Islands State Park, just on the Allegheny River, just north of Pittsburgh. I think it's north of Pittsburgh, but it's only accessible by boat. There are no, you know, even though the I think it's the Pennsylvania State Turnpike, I think it's 76, I think that goes right through it. There goes that guy again. That same first truck. I guess you could build like little things in spots like this. But yeah, like I said, up there mostly it's just all this. I mean, I'd be too afraid of rocks and stuff falling down and crushing my little house, you know. I mean, we already saw back there, you know, the rocks definitely do fall here. There's a nice rock outcropping up there. That's all, looks like a fortress up there. I know you can't see it through all the trees, but yeah, if you like rocky areas and cliff-like things like that, then yeah, this is definitely a nice little walk. Don't get me wrong, I like the full lush forest just as much, but this time of year when all that greenery is kind of low, it really gives you a chance to get up here and see all these cliff areas a lot clearer. Because yeah, you come here in late spring, early summer and beyond, you're not going to see any of this stuff. It's going to be all occluded from the growth. Whew. Well, doing better than I thought I would. Alrighty. So we're getting up close, because just beyond that island on there in the river, just upriver from that a little bit, is the coke ovens where they start. And it's a big long line of the old coke ovens. They're in pretty bad shape. There's a couple that are still in pretty good shape, but most of the coke ovens up here are degraded pretty bad. They got trees growing out of them and all kinds of stuff. But hey, they're still there, and who knows, when they get the trail built, because it's going to pass right by those, they might do a little restoration on them. As you can see, they put in a railing here along this part of the trail due to the bank being so up and down. I mean, you can see those steel I-beams where the tracks, where they built that to secure the bank. Probably like this too, because there's a little creek right going through here, what they call runs in PA. Oh goodness, there must be a road or something up there, because look at all that trash up there. It looks like someone's dump site up there. Yeah, there must be a road up there. That's sad. Not too much water coming down out of here. I really like these. I really like these gullies like this. A lot of times if I want to get up to the top of the mountain up there, I'll take one of these gullies, because usually you got better footing other than all these dry leaves and just sliding up and down. Usually I can get up and down on the rocks, but of course you have to be careful with that. I'll probably have to come back down here again in late spring, early summer, whenever everything's all growing up, and see what this trail looks like then. I haven't seen any pawpaw trees along this area. They're all down there by the river. I can see them down there by the river from here, but haven't seen any up here. In fact, there's a lot of pawpaws right here along this stretch, all in that little floodplain. I think this is where I come and gather them. That little pool off down there on the road. One of the first places that I used to come and pick the pawpaws. This is just, as far as I know, it's like basically public land that no one privately owns it, so technically you're not stealing. A lot of pull-offs along here, mostly for people fishing, but also for these, because I'm not the only one who comes to this patch. I mean, I've come here and I've seen where others have shaken them and left the fruit that were too hard. Yeah, there's a lot of garbage spots up there. Yeah, there must be a road up there. Somebody must just dump their trash. There's tires up here. Why people do that, beyond me. I mean, at least dig a hole and bury it, you know, so it can decompose better instead of blowing all over tarnation. Yep. Huh. Yeah, I'm just gonna probably take you guys to the end. Looks like they did some work on this trail. Tree fell across it and they cut it up, and that's good that they're keeping the maintenance up anyways. Yeah, because the first time whenever I just pulled off and looked at the trail, there was a big tree laying across there. Wow, look at that. You got a tree, big old, looks like a maple, growing on top of a rock ledge that's all crumbling underneath there. And one day the whole thing's probably going to just topple down, because that's pretty crumbly stuff underneath that rock shelf. And the weight of that tree is actually above the area that's vacant. So yeah, look at that's nature though for you. All right. Dum, 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 dum. I'm walking. I don't know the words of that song, so I'm walking. I don't know, I'm walking. That's all I know of that song. I don't even know who sings or anything. Oh, interesting. Here we got some sort of remnants of some kind of building. Oh, there's some up there too. So now we're really, yeah, because we're getting close to the coke ovens. I see the end of the trail already. But yeah, we're getting some old foundations here, and look at that. Oh, look at, oh my God, there's so much garbage back there. This is terrible. Wow, look at all those concrete pilings up there, all in a row. Yeah, definitely some kind of building was up there. Man, I'm gonna have to go back in there and explore that one of these days, just to, who knows, there might be an old abandoned building up there or something. Yeah, there's definitely some things up there. Never knew all that, you know, concrete things were up there. I'm sure there's other people who have explored this. Maybe I'll have to do a search online and find some of these things. But yeah, nice little creek coming down. It's got a lot of green moss. Not used to seeing that, especially this time of year. Probably algal blooms from all the garbage up there. Is probably some sort of over fertilization kind of stuff. Who knows what they dumped there. And I know that's a big problem with a lot of the water, you know, a lot of our water ways in the US is all the stuff that they dump into the river causes algal blooms. And all right, so yeah, other than the rock banks and the trees with no leaves on them and everything, it's been a pretty good hike. And I just got to go all the way back, so we'll get down here to the end and then I'll close it out. Yeah, it doesn't quite go to the coke ovens yet. Oh, but look at that beautiful river view. Gotta love that. Well, that's about the healthiest box elder tree I think I've ever seen. Usually they got all kinds of gnarls and burrs, and I got some water over here in the trench. Good for the pollywogs in the springtime. Yep. All right. Some logs they piled up here from the trail. More. Now, obviously, I think I can actually see the coke ovens up there. So you know what? And the trail's pretty clear, even though it's not maintained from this point on. You can see where it's going to go. I mean, the trail still goes through there, and I think I can see the coke ovens from here. Let's just, might as well walk down there and see, as long as I still got some battery power. A lot of wild garlic in here. Yeah, this is nice. I knew it was getting pretty close to the coke ovens. But yeah, like this is the old railroad bed. And if we do get up to the coke, if that is the coke ovens, the start oven, then I'll take a picture of a few of them. Oh, maybe not. Looks like we got a big hindrance here, which, you know, it is the coke oven. Maybe I can get around this big puddle here, because we've got a little creek going through here, but part of it is like, oh my goodness, going right down through here. Look at that. Jeez Louise. I don't think I can get around that. I don't feel like getting myself all muddied up. You know, we got the creek coming right down out of this little gully. Boom, boom, and more water flowing actually from this. But yeah, I don't know, you can maybe see a little bit of the coke ovens up there. Maybe I can. Oh, it's not too muddy. Let's see. See, that's the end of the coke ovens there. I like this little waterway here. Oh, that's why part of the runoff's coming here. Yeah, that's nice. Well, yeah, there you can see. Oh, jaggers. Oh, look out. Ouch, those wild thorns. Suckers are mean. I don't know, maybe you can see those. I'll take a picture with the camera because this GoPro that I got doesn't zoom in, but I'll take a picture with the camera just so you guys can see, and I'll insert that at the end. So, all right, let's go ahead. Well, we got a 30-something minute video, and it wasn't so bad. I'll give you a nice picture of the creek in the background there. It's either that or the river, but the river's harder to see with the sun there. So, that's the newest section of the Sheepskin Trail along Nilan Road and the Cheat River. Hope you enjoyed the little, I mean, I know it wasn't all that exciting or not too much to see, but I thought it was nice, and it got me out and it got me exercising. So if you like it, just, you know, make sure you leave a like on the, hit that like button, and all that other good stuff, whatever. I'm not too concerned about that, but all right, y'all have a great day. God bless, and we'll see you later. Take care.